On this episode, a man freed after 26 years behind bars sues the NYPD officer who helped send him to jail. Also, former police union chief convicted of fraud sentenced to 2 years in prison. That and more. Chris Talk starts right now. Let's get into it. All right, listeners, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Chris Talks. I am your host with the I'm jumping the gun. Welcome to another episode of Chris Talks, where we talk about any and everything under the sun. I am your host with the most, Chris Talks. I'm sorry about that intro, y'all. I am jumping the dang on gun. And I'm sorry about that. So, alright, let's check out these crazy stories that we have going on right now. Okay, so this first story is about a man who was freed after 26 years behind bars sues the NYPD officer who helped send him to prison. Y'all already know this man is about to get paid. Let's just be honest. Let's be real. This man is about to get paid. All right. So, let's get into this first story. Let's let our AI take over. Let's hit it. Let's get into it.
A man who spent 26 years in prison for a Bronx shooting he had always maintained he didn't commit is suing the NYPD officers whose investigation put him away. In a lawsuit filed last week, Norberto Peets accused police of framing him, hiding exculpatory evidence from the grand jury and losing a key piece of physical evidence that could have cleared him of wrongdoing. Mr. Peets suffered severe emotional and mental anguish and pain as a result of being punished for crimes he did not commit. The lawsuit states. Peets' attorney, Gabriel Harbis, declined to comment on the lawsuit or to make his client available for an interview while the litigation is pending. The NYPD declined to speak about pending litigation, and the city's legal department did not respond to a request for comment. The lead officers named in the complaint, Claude Stadden and William Fulham, and a spokesperson for the Police Benevolent Association also could not be reached for comment. Stadden is still an officer in the 46th Precinct in the Bronx. According to department records, while Fulham is no longer with the NYPD, the case joins a growing group of lawsuits filed against NYPD officers involved in wrongful conviction cases from the 1990s. When a mayoral commission uncovered rampant corruption and misconduct within the NYPD as crime reached record levels in the city. Last year, 3 of the 4 most expensive payouts for NYPD-related lawsuits, totaling $35.5 million, went to men who spent decades in prison for convictions from the 1990s that were later vacated. Peets' lawsuit paints a similar picture of officers who his lawsuit claims used shoddy tactics to solve an attempted murder of police and civilians. Even if it meant convicting the wrong person, it also criticizes the department's evidence preservation practices, which recently came under scrutiny after a fire severely damaged a department's warehouse, destroying scores of materials that experts worry could make it harder to re-examine other potentially wrongful convictions. The case started with an argument near the 183rd Street and Jerome Avenue subway station in the Bronx. According to Peets' lawsuit, it was about 2:30 a.m. on September 29, 1996. And a Latino man had just accused a black man of stealing $20 from him inside a nearby Kennedy Fried Chicken. The lawsuit states that a racially charged fight broke out between the men and others in the area. Someone pistol-whipped one person and fired into the crowd, shooting 2 people. Police pulled up and exchanged gunfire with the shooter as he fled. According to court papers, the man fell to the ground, yelled, "The cops shot me," and then managed to get away. None of the gunshots that night were fatal. After the fight, police collected a bloody bullet fragment where the shooter had fallen and interviewed victims and witnesses. Several described the shooter as a black man wearing a red jacket. According to the lawsuit, witnesses even identified a likely suspect. But instead of arresting that man, officers arrested Peets, a Dominican man, who they passed on the street several days later while he was walking home from a party at his mother's house. He had no criminal record at the time. According to the lawsuit, it's unclear why the NYPD pursued him instead of the other suspect. who matched the witnesses' descriptions. Pete's lawsuit claims police recognized him from an unrelated incident about a year earlier, when he had a breakdown related to a recent, emotional trauma, and had to be hospitalized. The lawsuit states that the officers who identified him as a suspect in the shooting had spent hours with him on that other day. The lawsuit goes on to describe a series of missteps by police, including suggestive lineups, where investigators showed the officers who responded to the shooting potential suspects in a way that nudged them toward misidentifying Pete as the shooter. The suit accuses police of sharing a made-up narrative with the DA's office to secure criminal charges against Pete. It also states that an NYPD analyst bleached the blood off the bullet fragment, so it couldn't be tested for DNA, and that the department later lost the bullet altogether. Pete, 26 at the time with 2 young children, remained in jail while awaiting trial, because he couldn't post bail. One officer allegedly threatened him and told others to spit on him, because he likes to shoot police. According to the lawsuit, when the trial finally began in April 1998, Pete had a mental breakdown in the courthouse and the judge had to declare a mistrial. According to court papers, he was then committed to a psychiatric institution. This period was particularly traumatic for Mr. Pete, who was isolated from his close-knit family and forced, in an over-medicated state, to confront the twin terrors of psychiatric commitment and the maddening prospect of spending life in prison as an innocent man. The lawsuit says, Pete was retried about a year later, and a jury convicted him on all charges, including attempted murder. According to the lawsuit, he was sentenced to 30 years to life. Decades into that sentence, the Innocence Project agreed to review Pete's case. An attorney the organization hired re-interviewed witnesses. A doctor went to Sing Sing prison to evaluate Pete and concluded that he had never been shot. While the bullet fragment from the scene wasn't available for testing, the Innocence Project was able to track down a baseball cap that allegedly belonged to the shooter. A DNA analysis of the hat determined that Pete had not worn it. The Conviction Integrity Bureau in the Bronx DA's office conducted its own review and moved last September to toss Pete's conviction and indictment, citing ineffective defense counsel and questionable eyewitness identification after months of flip-flopping. As first reported by the nonprofit newsroom The City, a judge agreed in May. Norberto Pete has served 26 years in prison, after being found guilty in a trial where his lawyer overlooked key evidence that could have led to acquittal. Bronx DA Darcel Clark said in a press release at the time, "My office's Conviction Integrity Bureau has helped bring him some semblance of justice by investigating his claims and joining the Innocence Project to have the charges dismissed and clear his name. Hopefully it will help him as he puts his life back together." After more than a quarter of a century behind bars, Pete was released. The civil complaint describes the severe emotional and mental anguish he suffered as a result of being punished for crimes he did not commit. While incarcerated, Pete missed the childhoods of his 2 kids. He lost his father and his grandmother. The lawsuit also states that Pete now fears police and struggles to go about everyday activities. Plaintiff has been publicly shamed, disgraced, ridiculed and humiliated. He was a figure of outrage and disdain as the convicted attempted murderer of police for events in which he had no part. The lawsuit states, nothing can undo the damage he has sustained.
Y'all know how I get down. So let's get into this. Y'all know what I do. I give y'all my view, my opinion. Okay, and my view on this this story is this. This guy was basically locked up for 26 years for no reason. No reason at all. But there is a reason why he was locked up. The reason why he was locked up is because he had a public defender. Had he had a paid defender, he would not have been locked up. And the evidence, if you really listen to the story, the evidence that they presented, even at that time, was against him. It was not for him. It was for him, not against. Let me change that. It was for him, not against him. Because I'm looking at this up and down. This is Whew, man, I'm about to dig into this. This is something serious, and um, I will say this: a lot of melanin people in our community of African descent, they go through the same type of thing, where this person was stopped from mistaken identity, because that's what he was stopped for. Yes, that's what he was stopped for originally, mistaken identity. Then went through the system, okay, and was found guilty. Just found guilty out of nowhere. Now, this is the problem that a lot of our melanin brothers deal with, and that's why I say it's a problem. To me, the problem was having a court-appointed attorney, because there was, and it said it, there was evidence that proved that this man was not guilty. A simple hack, proved that this man was not guilty. But this court-appointed attorney did not fight or did not see that. Did not even seek, to get that information. Now, he's supposed to get $20 million. $20 million. To me, that's not enough. You took 26 years of this man's life. This man, his grandmother passed, but it says his grandmother passed and another family member passed, and he was incarcerated during this time. So let me ask you a question. This is all my listeners. Let me ask you a question. If you was incarcerated for 26 years, and somebody in your family, one of your family members passed, and the city offered you $20 million, would you think that was enough? I'm not worried about it. It's empty. But would you think that was enough? Okay, now, it does stay during the time that he was arrested. I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest. Technology has evolved over time. This arrest did take place in the 90s. So at that time, they didn't have those proper, how you say, DNA tools and all that stuff. But when they did acquire those DNA tools, and I want to say, I want to give a shout out to the people that work the Innocent Projects. Can we get them a round of applause, please? Because these people, they have freed, and if you look it up, they have freed over about 300,000 wrongfully convicted inmates. I mean, roughly around there. So these are people who have been wrongfully convicted. Some people, if I'm correct, some people were on death row. If I am correct, they did have a HBO special that involved these people, which is the Innocent Project. You could go check them out. They online, innocentproject.com. You could go check them out. They there. They take up cases that they take up such cases where they feel that people are innocent, are wrongfully convicted. You know what I'm saying? And they go and they look for that evidence that can prove their innocence. And I'm not going to say it always works, but 7 times out of 10, a lot of people who are in prison wrongfully, these people, they tend to find that evidence that the police overlooked. And some of these people get out, some of these people, they don't get out. Some of these people, they in there for real. Like, they in there for real. Like, they did it. Yeah, they did it. So they in there for real. But the other people, like this person right here, and By the grace of God, he got out. It took so many years for him to get out, but he was able to get out. And he's suing the NYPD for $20 million. For me, I would definitely go for more, way more, way more. 20 million is not enough. I think you should go for probably 200 million, probably somewhere around there, 100 million or something like that. It's 26 years of this man's life that was taken away. Kids, everything, all grandchildren, all these things that were taken away. This thing, think about what you could do in 5 years. Then think about what you can do in 10 years. Then think about what you can do in 20 years. Now add 6 to it. So think about the things that you could do. Now, I think this guy should definitely win this lawsuit because the description of this lawsuit is it includes like mishandling of the lineup, which means, and the phrase that they put the mishandling of the lineup, which means is that they put people in there, they set it up, basically, and not for nothing. If you if you at least over 40, you know how corrupt the NYPD was back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. They were locking people up for nothing. Like literally nothing. You walk down the block, you look a certain way, suddenly you have a bag of weed. Where did that come from? Nowhere. They were locking people up for nothing. And this is, to me, this is what they was doing. And now the city of New York has to pay for this. And I'm sorry, taxpayers, but it's going to cost you some money. But this man was wrongfully convicted. He was locked up for nothing. He lost so much of his life. All right, let's get into one of the comments that one of the people wrote. I hope he wins the lawsuit and retrieves more than he asked for. That's what I just said. 20 million to me is not enough. It's not enough. He lost everything. You can never replace his life, and he will have to work hard. Wait, he will have to work hard to start fresh. You damn right. He's going to have to work hard to start fresh. He's been locked up for 26 years. You have to think about this, people. Think about how much technology has come in 26 years. Think how much society has changed in 26 years. And you in one building. One building. For 26 years. The other comment says, we have been saying the police system and the justice system has been crooked for years and has been acting like they are here to protect and serve. Shaking my head. Yeah, we say that. We always say that. But nothing's being really done about it. And nothing's being done about it is because, and I want to say it, I said it before, I say it again. It's because of the people that you put in office. These people that you put in these offices to oversee that, they don't pay no attention to it. You got corrupt CEOs. There was a show, let me tell you something, there was a show called, I forgot the name. What the hell? Excuse me, I didn't mean to say hell. What the heck was his name? So, but it was like 60-day inmate or whatever. Basically what it was, they would put these civilians in jail for 60 days and then record what happened within that block. Okay, I forget the exact name of it. Watch it. If you think I'm lying, watch it. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. But watch it. Feel free to watch it. What did you say? 60 days in. 60-day inmate. 60 days in. Yeah, 60 days. Watch it. 60 days in. I think it's on Oxygen or some crazy channel or whatever. Watch it. 60 days in. Watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. The system. Listen. These are the people, Democratic voters, that you vote for. Like I told you, I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. But when you put these people in office and you put them in these positions, these are the type of results that you get. To where they sit there, they'll take a show, they'll take something as serious as jail or prison. And it's more than just this one show that I mentioned. It's different shows. They'll take it, and they'll try to profit off it. Even though they are already profiting off of having these people incarcerated, they create more profit off of it. And you watch it and enjoy it. I'm not hating. Enjoy it. I enjoy it too. I'm just not subscribing. I don't do the subscription. I'm not subscribing to no channel. No. I'm not subscribing to Oxygen. That ain't gonna happen. Alright, let's get into this. Let's get into this next story. Alright, that's my view and my opinion on that story. I think it all boils down to the government. I don't know. You tell me. You let me know. You comment and let me know. Alright, everybody. Let's get into this next story. This next one is former police union chief convicted of fraud, sentenced to 2 years in prison. Why? I don't know. Let's check it out. Fraud. What kind of fraud did he commit? Let's see what's going on. Alright, let's let the AI take over. Let's do this.
The former chief of one of New York City's police unions was sentenced Thursday to 2 years in federal prison for fraud. Ed Mullins was the head of the Sergeants Benevolent Association from 2002 until 2021, when a raid on its headquarters conducted by the FBI discovered Mullins had been stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from the SBA. Mullins would surrender to the FBI after he was charged with 1 count of wire fraud, as a result of pleading guilty to the charge. Mullins will serve prison time and be required to forfeit $600,000 to the government and pay $600,000 back to the union. He received over $1 million in reimbursements from the SBA during the alleged scheme. And prosecutors claim the majority of that was fraudulently obtained once released from prison. Mullins will serve 3 years of supervised release. Although I regret everything that has led me to this day, I remain motivated to make this right, to correct my flaws, and to restore to all those who I've injured, Mullins said in the hearing. The SBA has roughly 13,000 members, which include active and retired police officers. And it is the 5th largest police union. It did not respond to the Washington Examiner's request for comment. Former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio previously had a public spat with Mullins. At one point commenting he had no respect for the leadership of the SBA, Mullins responded by releasing the arrest records of de Blasio's daughter, Kiara de Blasio, after she was arrested during the George Floyd protests in June 2020. Mullins resigned as president of the SBA following the raid and filed for retirement from the New York Police Department. He was replaced by Vincent J. Ballalong.
Well, I want to hear the rest of it. Mullins better file for retirement. This was a corrupt dude, bro. He's corrupt. I mean, if you listen to the evidence and listen to it very clearly and you pay attention to what was just being said, this was a corrupt police officer, and he got exactly what he deserved. Well, I don't think he should have. 2 years, come on. He should have got way more than that. I mean, come on. You're already receiving $600,000? Come on. 600? $600,000. You received over 1 million. That's over 1 million. And I want y'all to understand this, people. This is your taxpayers' money. So this guy just received. He's already getting clearly getting a nice clean salary of $600,000 and then he's gonna steal over 1 million. Oh, come on, people. Come on. And should this guy just get 2 years? No. Way more than that. Way more than that. This guy's been associated with the FBI. This is what I want you to think about. Okay, they caught him for the 2 years, but you have to think it. You really have to think about this. He's been employed by the FBI from 2002 into 2021. Think about the years there. I'm not going to tell you. Just think about the years that's there. And like I've already said before, when you commit or you do things like this, and can we give him the dummy bell though? One more time. When you do things like this and you commit crimes like this, and you are in the place of law enforcement and stuff like that, your record is completely tarnished. Because now they're looking at that. You was employed from 2002 to 2021. If they find out that you did a month of corruption, they're looking into your entire record. Your whole career is destroyed. As far as the FBI, yeah, your career is destroyed. And for what? For money. For money. I keep telling you. It is said, money is the root of all evil. I keep telling you. It is said, money is the root of all evil. And these people, even the stories that you go back and you listen to my episodes, you see the core of all these things, all these corruption in the government, it has to do with money. It always has to do with some type of money. There's always some negotiation over money. Now, this guy, he's working for the FBI. He's getting paid nice. He's getting paid nice. You know what I'm saying? He's getting paid nice. Oh, but I had the let me correct myself. I had it wrong. Earlier I had it wrong. He has to pay back $600,000. This is what I'm trying to say. Crimes like this, and I always say, they're senseless to commit. Because when you get caught, you end up owing however much you saved up or you spent. You went on this luxury cruise, you went on this luxury yacht, Yeah. When the lawyers come, when the government come for you and the lawyers come, let me tell you something. That little trip to Dubai, you're done, son. Like that's to get the lawyer gonna cost you like 5 trips to Dubai. And that's just to stay out of jail. And that's if you don't get put in jail. But it's obvious this person is definitely gonna go to jail. 2 years in prison. I don't think that's enough. I think he should get way more time. But this is what happens when you do serve in these places. It's a two-headed coin. That's what I'm saying. It's a two-headed coin. When you serve in these places and you serve in some certain government positions, you get a ticket. So this 2 years, that's like a slap on the wrist. Because if you think about the time, 2 years, How much time, for my listeners who's ever done jail time or know somebody who's done jail time, just think about it. 2 years. I'm not going to say it. You say it. How much time he going to do? Okay, you think that's fair? Let's check out his complexion. Is this guy non-melanin? Yes, he is. He has no melanin. That's why he's getting this free ride, this free ticket. It's not fair. It's not fair, obviously. Alright, I'm done with it. That's my view, that's my opinion on this. This guy's gonna get away. Owing the city of New York. Doing 2 years and then owing it. As soon as he get out, he's gonna get back into some type of political arena. And he's going to get that money and pay it back. That's just what it is. It is what it is. Alright, folks, if you like this content and want to hear more of it, all the links and everything, they're right there on your screen. Also, this particular episode will be posted up on YouTube. You can check me out at Chris Talks YouTube 1190. Also, check out our Facebook page where we post up spiritual and most motivational stuff like that. Hit that subscribe button, to like, share, and all that good stuff. Alright, until next episode. Stay blessed and not stressed. Yeah, right? That's all I gotta say. Stay blessed and not stressed. Peace. Alright, we out here, folks. I see y'all later.